social distance. Only when we party, with all the restrictions. The only time I want a mask on my face is when you see I turning up the place. So when they open the road, we go trample it. Find yourself in a van, then dismantle it. When they open the road, we go trample it. You in charge of it, we in charge of it. Yeah. Cause my name is Johnny Prospect, so you get to know me. Cause this year when I come in, I come hard. I come in hard, 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 hard. Yeah. It's my turn to provide the vibes, and that is my concern. Cause this year when I come in, I come hard. Hard, 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 hard. Yeah. They have a big sign, same social distance. Only when we party, with all the restrictions. The only time I want a mask on my face is when you see I'm turning up the place. So when they open the road, we go trample it. Find yourself in a van, then dismantle it. When they open the road, we go trample it. You in charge of it, we in charge of it. Yeah. Hey, they have a big sign, same social distance. Only when we party, with all the restrictions. The only time I want a mask on my face is when you see I'm turning up the place. They have a big sign, same social distance.
Greetings, greetings, greetings and salutations one and all.
On my face is when you see I'm
How you doing, how you doing, how you doing? The sound of Johnny Prospect. Track is called Big Sign. It's a night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. Healthy Love Night.
In these times, we don't have the time because it's our low vibes. How they want we to enjoy ourselves and be free. Yeah. They have
I want to say big ups and welcome to each and everyone locked in.
a party with all the restrictions.
Those tuning on tuning radio, the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. Big ups to you.
It's when you see I turning up the place. So when they open the road, we go trample it. Find yourself in a van, then dismantle it.
Hey Jan, how you doing?
We go trample it. You in charge of it, we in charge of it.
Big ups to those locked in on tuning radio, the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew.
Prospect, so you get to know me. Cause
How you doing?
I come in, I come out.
Big ups to those from across the pond, the One Harmony Radio. Top of the morning to you guys over there in the UK.
My turn to provide the vibes, and that is my concern.
Big ups to those who are locked in out to New Jersey, with New Jersey's finest
Yeah,
NIE Radio.
they have a big sign, same social distance. Only when we
Big ups to Motivator.
on the restrictions. The only time
Much love to the New York Massive.
is when you see I'm turning up the place.
Island worldwide, exhibiting the power of music.
Find yourself in a van, then dismantle it. When they open the road,
Big ups to you.
you in charge of it.
And those locked in on the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com.
Have a big sign, same social distance.
Big ups to you.
When we party, with all the restrictions.
Remember, you can catch Mr. Lindsay at 12 p.m. Eastern,
The place.
Monday through Friday.
They have a big sign, same social distance.
Thank you for sharing, Jan.
This new way, and when we party, tell them we say no way. How they want
Big ups to those who are locked in out of Texas.
and me.
And just like Texas, they do everything big over there in Texas. I got 3.
Because it's our low.
Count them 1, 2, 3
How they want we to enjoy.
affiliates carrying the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Big ups to Follow Up Radio, Dusik Media Group, and WGLRO, the home of the Donnie Walker Morning Show.
When we party, with all the restrictions.
Taking from the sheets to the streets, touching from Detroit to Denmark and all points in between.
When you see I'm turning up the place. So when they open the road,
Big ups to you.
find yourself in a van.
Much love and thanks.
When they open the road, we go trample it. You
Big ups to those who are locked in on PEMGTV.com.
cause my name is Johnny Prospect, so you get to know me. Cause this year when I'm
Those locked in on Clubhouse, greetings and salutations to you.
hard, hard, hard. Yeah,
And those locked in on Facebook Live,
turn to provide you
enough love and big ups.
turn. Cause
Now those on Facebook Live and Clubhouse, remember it's only a segment.
hard, 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 hard. Yeah,
If you want to catch the whole thing, you got to go to kevinstew.com or any of the affiliates.
only when we party, with all the
NIE Radio Island Worldwide,
I want to
the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com, TuneIn Radio. Oh, big ups to Zeno FM also. Yeah, man, the Stupid live on Zeno FM. It's bubbling. The Club on Clubhouse, for those who are asking the question, the Club on Clubhouse is called the Stupid. Yep. You know what else is called the Stupid? The interactive portal on kevinstew.com that others call a chat room. Yeah, man, it's where we keep things interactive and bubbling. So use up the link that is in the comment section. It's pinned there on Facebook Live. The link is in the description on Clubhouse. It's kevinstew.com. It takes you straight to the website where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment and to the stew pot. You don't need to register, you don't need to sign up, you don't need to offer a firstborn, internal organ, or any type of blood sacrifice. Let's go to the site and you are a part of the broadcast. Of course, I want to say thank you to my affiliates. Sorry, my sponsors. Pulse Media Group and Being in the Moment is priceless. Give them a call. What can they do for you? Everything you see here on kevinstew.com and so much more. Is it more? More like what? Well, they host kevinstew.com. That's for starters. Yeah, they host a website. But not only that, they can provide you with streaming services. So you have a church service, a funeral, a seminar, a party, a graduation, you name it. You want to stream it on a secure platform, whether it is yours or theirs, they can hook you up. Let's call them up, 754-999-1140. Thank you to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands. Althea SU is a licensed massage therapist operating out of Broad County, North Miami-Dade and South Palm Beach counties. She comes to you, bringing her table, her oils, and over 20 years massage therapy experience. Go ahead and give her a call, 954-655-9000. That's 954-655-9000. Or you can email her at thealater@att.net. That's THEALATER at att.net. She only has one request outside of paying her. That's it, and that is that you get off her table and go sleep somewhere else. Althea, I think I need a massage. I'm getting tongue-tied. Well, since you can work out the knots in the back and the shoulders and the legs and everywhere else, give me a massage. I can start out my tongue-tiedness. I want to say thank you to Reggae Global Entertainment. Reggae Global acts as your booking agent, handle your tour management, your publishing, trademarks, business registration, legal service referrals, music production, marketing and promotion, and so much more. Check them out at reggaeglobal.com and tell them you heard about them on the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. Thank you to McNeil Trucking. With McNeil Trucking, you're in good hands. They're licensed and insured movers. So you want to move from here and get to there? Not quite sure how to get to do it, or to get around doing it, or to get about doing it. Just go ahead and call them up, 954-406-9740. That's 954-406-9740. With McNeil Trucking, you're in good hands. It's Johnny Prospects. The track is called Big Sign. And it's Healthy Love Night. And sometimes, you do need to look out for some signs. Because some signs that when our body tells us certain things, we need to listen. Right now I'm telling you that if you want to be a part of this broadcast, you can just give me a call. How can you call me? The number is simple. It's 773-789-STEW. Those of you watching on kevinstew.com, you see the number scrolling across the bottom of your screen. Those watching on Facebook Live, you see it too. 773-789-STEW, 773-789-7839. Call, text, WhatsApp, Telegram. Those all work.
The only time I want to mask on the face is when you see a turning up the place. So when they open the road, we go.
So we're talking about tonight on Healthy Love. What we're talking about is blood pressure. Yep, we're in the blood pressure wars. And when it comes to, I think people from the Caribbean kind of grew up hearing the adults talking about suffering from high blood pressure, and it was kind of like second nature to me to hear people saying, "Boy, yeah, my blood pressure kind of high," or to hear an adult saying to a child that you're raising the blood pressure. Now, I wasn't one to raise blood pressure like that. I started doing that in my adulthood. And I won't call any names, and I won't give you any hints so you can ask if it's true. But yeah, I only started raising blood pressure in my adulthood when I discovered certain things about myself. So, but tonight is Healthy Love and not Real Talk, so we're not talking about that tonight. High blood pressure. Now, one of the most dangerous things about high blood pressure, or what is known as hypertension, is that you may not know that you have it. In fact, nearly 1/3 of people who have high blood pressure don't know it. Strange, right? Crazy. And that is because high blood pressure doesn't have any symptoms unless it's very severe. And the best way to know if you have high blood pressure is through regular checkups. You can also monitor blood pressure at home. And this is especially important if you have a close relative who has high blood pressure. Your father suffered from it, your mother suffered from it, you have a sibling that suffers from it. Chances are you could too. Now, if your blood pressure is extremely high, there may be certain symptoms to look for. And these include severe headaches, nosebleeds, fatigue or confusion, vision problems, chest pain, difficulty breathing, irregular heartbeats, blood in the urine, pounding in your chest, neck, or ears. Now, I've seen some women that cause that just by walking by. So is everything related to high blood pressure? I wouldn't say so. Now, some people sometimes feel that other symptoms may be related to high blood pressure, but they may not really be. Like, you're talking like dizziness, nervousness, sweating, trouble sleeping, facial flushing, those things, blood spots in the eyes. These are things that fall in that category. Now, one thing to be mindful of, though, if you have any of these symptoms, you should see a doctor. You should be seeing your doctor anyway, but see a doctor if you have any of these symptoms. Go get it checked out. You could be having a hypertensive crisis that could lead to a heart attack or stroke. You may also have another serious health condition. So the best way to know is to get it checked out, right? Now, most of the time, high blood pressure doesn't cause headaches or nosebleeds. But this can happen in a hypertensive crisis when blood pressure is above 180/120. If your blood pressure is extremely high and you have these symptoms, rest for 5 minutes and check it again. If your blood pressure is still unusually high, then you need to be calling for an emergency vehicle. So if you're in the US, it's 911. whatever it is in your neck of the woods, in your country. You know, I grew up on 119. You go ahead and call that emergency number immediately. Now, it's important to remember that high blood pressure doesn't usually have symptoms. Remember that. It cannot be emphasized enough. So, everyone should get it checked regularly. The American Heart Association recommends that adults with normal blood pressure should get blood pressure checked each and every year, at routine health visits. And you may also have it checked at a health resource fair or other locations in your community. There are some supermarkets and stores that have blood pressure machines. You know, get it checked. If it high, then you need to go get it really checked. If you have high blood pressure, your doctor might recommend that you monitor it more often at home. And at home monitors may work better than some of the store-based machines. And your doctor will recommend making certain lifestyle choices along with medications to lower your blood pressure. Untreated hypertension can lead to serious diseases, including stroke, heart disease, kidney failure, and eye problems. So you definitely want to pay attention to what your blood pressure is doing, where you are in your on the blood pressure scale, and what you can do about it. Now, what we're going to be talking about tonight includes some of the things that you can do about having high blood pressure. You know, waging war. Now, speaking of war, though, and I'm not talking about going out and attacking people and countries and stuff. I'm talking about waging war on the condition, on the health condition. Now, because war is big in the news, you know, I guess we should be waging war anyway when it comes to things relating to our health. One of the things that can contribute in a great way is stress. And with the war going on, that is causing us some stress because it affects other things around us. Everyone is seeing where gas prices are just going up, like taking off like rockets. Now, when will this stop going up? Who knows? But one thing is for sure, it's going up. And it is stressing some people out because it affects all areas in our community. Think of a business. It is affected by gas prices. You know, the delivery business is definitely affected, and that's how your goods and services are moved. You have to move from point A to point B to provide a service most of the time, unless it's a virtual service. But even then, because it requires oil or gas to fuel a lot of our energy services, you know, cost is still going up. So everything is affected by our resources, gas, transportation, cooking, again, goods and services, you name it, across the board. So stress can cause high blood pressure. Stressful situations can, according to the Mayo Clinic, stressful situations can cause your blood pressure to spike temporarily. But there's a question. Can stress also cause long-term high blood pressure? Could all those short-term stress-related blood pressure spikes add up and cause high blood pressure in the long term? Here's the thing. Researchers are not quite sure. However, they say exercising 3 to 5 times a week for 30 minutes can reduce your stress level. And if you have high blood pressure, doing activities that can help manage your stress and improve your health can make a long-term difference in lowering your blood pressure. Your body, when stressed, produces a surge of hormones. These hormones temporarily increase your blood pressure by causing your heart to beat faster and your blood vessels to narrow. There's no proof, according to this article on mayoclinic.org, there's no proof that stress by itself causes long-term high blood pressure. But reacting to stress in unhealthy ways can increase your risk of high blood pressure, which then increases your risk of heart attacks, strokes, and the list goes on. But certain behaviors are linked to higher blood pressure. Certain habits, smoking, drinking too much alcohol, eating unhealthy foods, high up on the list. Heart disease also may be linked to certain health conditions related to stress, such as anxiety, depression, isolation from friends and family. And that's a big one. You have a lot to say on this subject? Well, call up. Use up the number 773-789-STEW. I have information to present, but there's no information that is greater than the information that someone has by way of experience. So if you have something to say, you know the number 773-789-STEW. Jan, come on now. You shouldn't even have to wait. You shouldn't be hesitating. You know the number. Go ahead and give us a call. Share with us some of the things that you have to say on the subject of high blood pressure. I have a friend. I try to check in on her regularly. In fact, now as I'm thinking about it, I have several friends that I'm checking on her regularly because that is something that they're diagnosed with, high blood pressure. And whenever I hear the words, headache, I'm like, whoa, wait. So how's your BP? It's like a regular part of our conversations these days. And it doesn't have to be. That doesn't have to be the case. So, according to this article on mayoclinic.org, there's no evidence that these conditions are directly linked to high blood pressure, the anxiety, depression, and isolation from friends and family. Again, isolation from friends caused by many things. We had the lockdowns and quarantining that was going on for the past 2 years. And now you have the situation with this war. So, and because the gas prices are going up, that's causing some isolation too, because nobody wants to drive. We can't afford gas overnight. We're having problems with gas. So, people think it's a joke. No, serious thing. Now, the hormones in our bodies that are produced when we're emotionally stressed may actually damage arteries, which can also lead to heart disease. And also some symptoms like those caused by depression may cause you to forget to take your medications to control high blood pressure or other heart conditions. You see, even if the stress itself is not causing the high blood pressure, if you suffer from high blood pressure by way of genetics, and you forget to take your medicine that is prescribed, and you're not eating right, and you're not exercising regularly, you're not living a healthy lifestyle, what do you think is going to happen? If the stress is causing you to forget to do that, if the stress is preventing you from doing that because the stress is caused by something like work, you have to be there. And then you have a deadline and you have to put in extra hours. So now the issue is compounded and compounded and compounded. What do you think is going to happen? So there are some... Wait, what just happened? I lost some bit of information just now. Let me go ahead and get this back real quick. 28 minutes after the hour. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? So there's an article that I have here that talks about ways to reduce stress and keep blood pressure down. Because although it is said that stress is not directly related, well, if you're going to be in a stressful situation, then you think you might end up in a situation, in a position to increase your chances of stress. So we don't want to be increasing our chances of stress. We should be taking a break. But I say I have a call coming in here, and I just lost it. So let me see if I can get them back really quickly, to see what what they have to contribute to this broadcast tonight. Okay, so while that is happening, let me see some things that are recommended here.
Hi there. Please leave your message.
Okay, I called back, and got voicemail. So caller, if you could just call me back, please. That would be appreciated, loved, because really, I really want to know what you have to say on this matter. I want to hear the stories. And Jan, I want to hear what you have to say on this matter. Okay, so since I'm going to be stalling for time, I may as well just give you some more of this information. So, okay, here we go. Um, oh, that's not gonna work. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Stress reducing activities can lower your blood pressure. Reducing your stress might not directly lower your blood pressure over the long term, but using strategies to manage your stress can help your health in other ways. Mastering stress management techniques can lead to healthy behavior changes, including those that reduce your blood pressure. And there are many options for managing stress. You can simplify your schedule, you can breathe to relax, you can exercise, you could try meditation and yoga, you could get sleep. Believe it or not, go to sleep. You could shift your perspective. All right, let me see here. Greetings and salutations.
Hey, hi, hey DJ Kevin Stew.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I this subject here tonight on blood pressure really got my attention. I wish there were more people tuning in because this is definitely a subject that should be spoken about
Mm-hmm.
more often.
Yeah.
Um, I was diagnosed with hypertension when I was about 30 years old. I've always been a very athletic person, always had normal blood pressure growing up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then when I reached 30, something very stressful happened and it went up and it never came back down.
Mm.
And so I've been hypertensive now for over 20 years. And yes, we talk about diet, we talk about exercise, we talk about stress, we talk about pain. Yes, all of that. But diet, all of that, genetics, all of that. My issue with high blood pressure is the actual medications. You go to the doctor and they say,
Mm.
all right, well, go exercise and eat properly. Well, you know, nowadays everything gives you cancer. Everything makes you sick. You can't drink milk anymore. Grew up on milk. You can't drink that, or it causes this. Can't eat that particular vegetable because it messes up your stomach lining, or
Mm.
so it's very difficult. My issue with hypertension was pharmaceutical medication. And I had a series of cocktails put together because my hypertension, no matter what I was doing, I was exercising, I cut out gluten,
Mm.
dairy. I did not cut out sugar.
Hmm.
Yeah, I did not cut out sugar. Um, and still had hypertension. Now, strangely enough, the one time I didn't have hypertension was when I was pregnant.
That's
Um,
funny. A lot of people
yeah,
tend to become hypertensive during pregnancy.
yes. But at the end of the pregnancy, it went up.
Wow.
And I had what's called preeclampsia and, of course, had to take the baby.
Right.
Um, After that, I had some back issues and suffered from chronic back pain,
Yes.
which ended up in a surgery and ended up messing that surgery because I had to take care of my newborn child and ended up doing a total spinal fusion, which after 11 years, I am in chronic pain every single day.
Mm.
And the blood pressure, it just kept going up and up and up and up and up and up. And so I was seeing a cardiologist, had me on medication. I had side effects from those medications. You have your calcium channel blockers, your beta blockers, and then the combination of the both caused me to have depression. I was very depressed. I didn't tell my friends. A lot of my friends and family didn't even know that
Right.
because I would just try to put a smile and go on. But when I was by myself, I was very low. And I couldn't
Mm.
understand why, because I'm usually a very happy person.
Right.
And after that, um, they put me on different. There's so many of them out there. So many of them. You ever seen that commercial, Kevin, where you take this and you take that, and you have this side effect may cause this. Your eye might
Yeah.
fall off.
Yeah.
You know.
I have a list. I had actually started putting a list together of
Yeah.
drugs that I've seen or heard on the radio or on TV that the side effects and the list of side effects, things that I wanted to present, and I did do a broadcast on some of these drugs. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. And those drugs actually created more issues for me. And psoriatic arthritis. I had inflammation of the small bowels. I had to go on this medication called methotrexate, and
Hmm.
because my joints were swollen, and saw a neurologist, I saw a nephrologist, and I kept telling them, I kept saying, I think it's this medication that these medications. I had about four of them
Yeah.
that I was that bad, but I had chronic pain, and on top of that, combination with pain medication, I had to stop all of that. And I kept telling my physicians, I said, listen, these high blood pressure medications, I believe is what's making me sick. Well, I don't think so. They would tell me, no, I don't think that's it. So I decided to take matters into my own hand. I listened to my own body.
Right.
I stopped it. And guess what?
The other issues stopped.
Right away.
So, did your blood pressure stay high?
Yes. And it went up even higher. Even with exercising, even with, the diet change, I had a doctor say, well, don't eat anything that comes out of a box. And I think what he means by that is processed foods
Right.
because they're filled with sodium. So if it's not from a farm, or you can't pick it from the earth, don't eat it.
Okay.
So I did that, and it is expensive to eat organic food, but it was still high. I was walking every day. Um, and eventually I said, all right, I'll change my doctor. And they put me on a set of other medications. Have you tried this one? Nope, this is a new one. Tried that one, didn't work. Blood pressure was still high. And out of his frustration, he said, listen, oh, the part where the gut, so the medications was, one of the medication, I'm not going to say it on air, but
Mm-hmm.
was affecting my small bowel.
Right.
And I was in the ER every week, vomiting, massive abdominal pain.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it was going on. I mean, those poor emergency crews, they kept saying, "Not you again." And so I went to a GI specialist, and the same. I told him, I said, "I think it's this blood pressure medicine." And he says, "Well, yeah, it could cause it, but it's right there. If you Google it, it says may cause this, may cause abdominal swelling and pain."
Right.
Okay, I guess you might want to just look into changing your medication. Well, my doctor, he said, well, I've exhausted all cocktails for you. And if I were you, off the record, I would go get a lighter spliff, Jamaican, marijuana or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and try that. And he says, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't think anything of it. I moved to the west side of the United States, and over there, marijuana is legal.
Right.
And so I decided to try it. And strangely enough, my blood pressure did come down.
Mm-hmm.
And so I put two and two together. And I felt because I was in chronic pain, this is what was causing my blood pressure to become so high.
Right.
Okay. Um, I truly believe they should study cannabis or marijuana, the marijuana plant for people who are um, hypertensive, because I do believe it does something to the nerve endings.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe it's a safer thing to take than these opioids or, these narcotics for pain. Um, because I don't do well on those either.
So it's really interesting that
Hmm.
you should say that. I have a friend um, who people have heard me make the statement that you can't choose your relatives, but you can choose your family. This
Yeah.
guy has become family,
Hmm.
and he was in an accident years ago in Canada, and it caused spinal damage, and it caused some damage to some nerves, and he's been on medications. He's been having cold spells, chills. It's he'd be out in the summer and wearing 3 layers of clothes, kind of a deal.
Hmm.
I was talking with him today, and it wasn't until recently, last few years, that a doctor had recommended cannabis to him.
Hmm.
So he's been on medical marijuana, and it has helped him significantly with his chronic pain and with the chills and everything else. I have done on this broadcast before. I've addressed marijuana and the use of marijuana in
Right.
medicine. The human body has something that is called cannabinoid receptors. The
Okay.
only place that you're going to have the other end that fits into these receptors is from cannabis.
Right.
It doesn't exist anywhere else. So why is it that the body has receptors for this particular plant, but
Hmm.
there's an issue with us having this plant?
I know. I don't get it either.
And the amount of people that have been coming forward, that have come forward and have been coming forward to say, I have been using this and it has been helping me
Hmm.
prior to it becoming legal. And you have to ask the question, why? Now, my theory and the views expressed are those of DJ Kevin Stew and only Kevin Stew, not any of the affiliates that are carrying this broadcast or the podcast that follows. My opinion is that it is not profitable to big pharma.
Exactly.
Cannabis didn't become a thing until they could capitalize on it. Until you had to have a license, which cost this whole heap of money to
Hmm.
sell a little bit of product to people, which is actually helping. And the problem with that is it is now treating causes versus treating symptoms. The medication that we've been getting all along with a lot of the pharmaceuticals that we get treat our symptoms. They don't address the cause of the symptom. So here it is that you are suffering from chronic pain, and it is
Hmm.
caused from spinal issues.
Right.
You had to go so far as to get spinal fusion, which
Yes.
since then you have been in chronic pain. How long
Ever
has it been since you have had this surgery, this fusion?
11 years.
Okay, so 11 years
Mhm.
you've had you've been suffering from chronic pain. 11 years your blood pressure has been high. Well,
Yes.
your blood pressure has been high for a little over 20 years, but still that was also caused by something that was traumatic. So
Right.
here it is, you have trauma being at the core of your pain. Now, I'm just a DJ, not a DR,
Hmm.
so I'm just putting two and two together based on what you're telling me. So how is it? And these are the questions that I don't know if anybody else asked these questions. I don't know if this is a situation that you ask these questions to your doctor and the doctor give you the runaround and say, well, just like when you said, I think it is a medication that is causing this. And you're saying, no, I can't fathom why a doctor would be telling you no when they're not the ones taking it.
Exactly. And then when it clearly states that um, on the medication, the side effects, if you read it, it does state these things. So it's like they're in denial or something. And this is strange, Kevin, because when I did move out west, I did see a holistic doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I told her, I said, I haven't had normal blood pressure for so long without medication. And she says, well, are you taking anything? I said, well, I tried marijuana.
Right.
And she said, that's great.
Well, of course.
I said, yeah, keep doing it. Now my issue with that is the smoking part of it. I don't like, so I do edibles.
Right.
And it does help. It doesn't cause any side effects. A lot of these other medications, they shut your liver down, and I was afraid of that.
That no is the other side of it.
Yeah.
So you have to ask the question: what are these horrible side effects from cannabis? And the only thing that anybody can come up with is when you burn it, you run the possibility of these hallucinogens.
Right.
Okay. Now, if you do the research, it will tell you that the cannabis plant is you get the THC when you actually burn it.
Hmm.
Now, or you get the highest concentration of THC when you burn it.
Hmm.
So here you are now. You the industry has now tapped into a section of this plant, and they realize, hey, you don't have to get all these high levels of THC causing all these different hallucinogenic effects. You could
No.
just go with CBD,
Hmm.
which has all the positive benefits and none of the negatives. And they make it sound like, oh, this is a brand new discovery. And nobody's saying that this is revolutionary discovery. This is things that they knew from a long time ago. Because goodness knows, marijuana is nothing new. Anything that is new has been under scrutiny and studied. Clearly, marijuana is not something new because people have been using it for years. Holistic medicine has used marijuana for years. People, I don't even know how many old people that as a child growing up, I've known of making marijuana tea, ganja tea.
Ganja tea.
And these people have lived long, productive lives.
Mm-hmm.
So in the process of treating something like high blood pressure, chronic pain, which in your case, the two are quite connected. Because your blood pressure came down when your pain levels went down.
Yes.
So simple science says, oh, these two are connected. But your MD would not go with that. Because there needs to be a prescription written for you to take this drug so that you can continue taking this drug, because you need to keep coming back for another prescription each time. When this one runs out, you have to come back and get another one. It's
Right.
called keeping the business going.
Right.
You have to have return customers. You need to be giving a product that causes your customer to come back, whether it is that they like it or they need it. So here it is that you are in a situation where you need to be controlling your blood pressure. You need to be controlling your pain. So what do you end up with? A cocktail of pharmaceuticals.
Mm-hmm. That causes more damage than anything in the long run.
And what happens there? Now you need more medication, because you're going to need medication to take care of what has happened as a result of the medication that you got before.
Right. So.
Now I've seen this with my own two eyes, where my mother, her soul rest in peace, was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, type of cancer. And at the time in Jamaica, they didn't really know anything about it. However, the few people that did know about it gave a timeline of about 7 to 8 years, the average person living with it. My mother did 15 years. She didn't do marijuana, but she did do vegetable juicing. The first time I came across vegetable juicing was when I saw my mother starting to do it. And we would get our vegetables, and when it came to the house, we had to be shaking dirt off of it outside and washing it off, because it came straight out of the ground. And my mother did juicing. And my mother had you talk about a cocktail of medication that you were on. My mother was taking hundreds of tablets. Like, she would stand in the kitchen just counting out tablets that she would have to take in one sitting.
Yes.
And she started juicing, and some of the medication really had some rough effects on her. My mother developed ulcers as a result of some of these medications. She couldn't sleep. She was sweating, night sweats, and all kind of side effects, nausea, and I was so helpless. I could do nothing but see my mother in pain and see my mother go through some of these things. And as a result of something that's supposed to be helping her, that is putting her in a worse off condition. And she started juicing, and she started putting some of these tablets aside. And she would go to her doctor, and her doctor would say, okay, you're doing well, you can stop taking this right now. And she would say nothing to her doctor about stop taking it 2 weeks ago. And
Yes.
this is a similar thing with you. Here it is. You were on these drugs, and until you took matters into your own hands, Marva Riley, who has been on this broadcast a number of times, wrote the book Eat, Sleep, Meditate, and the recipe book Share, SHEIR. She talks a lot and about you, the doctor in you. So much so that she created a Facebook group up by that name, The Doctor in You, where they talk a lot about things happening in us and how we can change our lifestyle and affect some of these things that are happening to us, that are ailing us, in a positive way. And it's funny because Chioli was kind of created out of interactions with Marvel Riley. Althea Isu created Chioli out of interactions, changing your lifestyle. That's what Chioli is. Change your lifestyle will change your life. Chioli, CH. Anyway, you can work it
Yes.
out.
Okay.
And so Marvel wrote the book Eat, Sleep, Meditate after having a near-death experience and documenting how she came back from this near-death experience by changing her lifestyle, eating, sleeping, and meditating, changing her diet by cutting out some of those very same processed foods
Hmm.
and the genetically modified foods, trying to be as close to natural as possible. That is the eating, getting regular sleep,
Very
and
important. Very
and
important.
meditating, and some of the things that are taken away from us because of needing to produce. One of the big things is sleep. And so you take away sleep. And because of wanting to be productive right through the day, you take away breaks. And you might have heard me talk about productive breaks. You know, regularly taking breaks as you go through your workday to help your brain stay sharp, to help you feel good about yourself. And these things are just, if they're not slowly taken away, they're just dropped. And so here we are in a chronic state because we're in a chronic state of pain. We're having chronic pain and we're having high blood pressure. So now we're having chronic illness. And from this high blood pressure, and by the way, it is a post, well, two posts that I saw Marvel make in The Doctor in You that made me change my topic to this tonight. Because I was really going to look at genital care.
Okay.
But because of the post that she made, I was inspired to change the topic to looking at high blood pressure and to wage war against it. Because we've talked so much about COVID-19
Hmm.
and it being this global pandemic killing off all these people around us. How many people has high blood pressure and high blood pressure related illnesses caused? High blood pressure related ailments killed? And when you check it out, there are more people that have died globally from high blood pressure related illnesses
Right.
than anything else.
Or
You
even
check
getting a stroke, or even having stroke. You know,
high
that's
blood
the one
pressure
thing that
related,
yeah,
stroke, heart
stroke.
attack,
Yeah, heart
kidney
attack. Yeah.
failure,
Mm-hmm.
you name it, aneurysms,
Aneurysms. Mm-hmm.
you name it, all linked to hypertension. And you want to tell me that the pandemic that has caused the world to shut down is COVID-19? Why? Because there needed to be a way to monetize it before you could go back to normal, quote unquote normal.
Mm-hmm. And not to mention suicide.
Yeah.
Not to
So
mention suicide, because I mean that's not really anything that I thought about, but I'm gonna tell you. Um, when I was having side effects from those medications, and I was, vomiting and this horrible, horrific abdominal pain, that the only thing that would take the pain away was when I was in the emergency room and they were pumping me with morphine, not just to take away the pain, but morphine also helps the blood pressure to come down.
right.
But then they send you home and they say, follow up with your physician. You go back to the same doctor who's still putting you on these medications to go through the same thing again. So it's like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place here. Okay, I take these medications that could cause everything to shut down in my body, or I don't take them and I die. Well, okay, so, what do I do here? Or I have a stroke, or
Okay, so
so
it's a catch 22.
yeah.
But it's a catch 22 with a twist.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Because there is something that can be done.
Absolutely.
You found a something that
Mm-hmm.
helped, and it came in the form of cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
For some, it comes in the form of starting to exercise. For some, it comes in the form of just sleeping a regular schedule, keeping a regular sleep schedule, and maintaining a minimum of 7 hours of sleep in that
Yes.
schedule. For some, it is changing their diet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a one size fits all.
Yeah.
However, there is something that can help. And it doesn't include pharmaceuticals. Now, I'm not saying that pharmaceuticals don't have their place.
Right.
But pharmaceuticals, I don't think pharmaceuticals is the go to for everything.
For everyone. Exactly.
You know, go and get your pharmaceuticals to get from that chronic state. But if it is putting you in another chronic state that is contributing to you being back in that same chronic state, then it doesn't make sense. Because it is supposed to be maintaining or bringing down your blood pressure, the medication that you were given, but it's causing other things to happen. And the other things that is happening now ends up being things that contribute to your blood pressure going back up. Because
Mm-hmm.
chronic pain will raise blood pressure. Chronic
Mm-hmm.
stress will raise blood pressure. Anxiety will raise blood pressure. So here it is, you're taking these medications and you're not sure if they're working, but then they're causing other problems. And now you're stressed out about the other issues that are being caused by this medication. What is going to happen? It's an endless cycle.
It's a serious thing. This is very serious.
Yes, it is.
And I think there should be more done, and especially in the Black community.
Not to mention in the black community. Come on now.
Yeah.
I,
And black men, I don't know what it is about what is so I should even say this, but I'm just gonna be honest here. But I find like, oh no, I don't. Especially West Indian men. No, I'm not got to know doctor. Mm-mm. That's all right. I just drink my juice and go on. You know.
but even if we're doing that the right way,
Yeah.
I could understand. But someone is going to say, yeah, man, I'll just go drink my juice. And they go to the supermarket, they go to the grocery store, and they pick up something that is labeled juice. That is not actually juice.
Juice, and it's full of sugar, which raises your high blood pressure. Which I didn't know. I always thought it was salt. Cut down your salt intake. That's all I kept hearing. But sugar,
Yeah.
number one cause of hypertension.
Well, you see, when you look at how how the body metabolizes substances and the effect it has on the body, when you take these things into consideration and you break them all down, then you see what leads to what.
Hmm.
Sugar and salt are two of the most dangerous things on the face of the planet.
Yes.
However, what you will find in the majority of our products that we get off the shelves for consumption is sugar and salt.
Yes.
They're high in sodium. So now all your processed foods are high in sodium because it's a great preservative. And when you come to processed foods, you're talking about shelf life. And some people might wonder why I address some of the subjects that I address, some of the topics I address on my broadcast. We talk about the cycling of produce in our supermarkets and stores, grocery stores, from anything from canned products to things out to the meat market, and how those are recycled and the potential dangers of that. They all come back. They all tie in. So here it is. We are getting these products high in sodium because it maintains a high shelf life because they're well preserved. And what is that doing to us? And then we have the thing, everything has high fructose corn syrup. You name it. Go down the list. You pick a product out of your pantry right now. High fructose corn syrup. And so Kellery Kellery on Facebook is saying, and I'm surprised I still have Facebook up, but is saying stuff gotta taste good. So you need the sugar and the salt to make stuff taste good.
Right.
I have been making stuff, cooking stuff with limited amount of salt, if any, and it still tastes good.
Yes, and you know something? I find that I used to eat a lot of sugar. I love.
Oh, that's what makes you so sweet.
Thanks, Karen. Let's share. Um, I love sugar, and
Hmm.
then when I went on this diet called keto diet.
Hmm.
I am an advocate for keto diet. It's not for everyone, but for
Hmm.
me, it worked great. I lost 50 pounds on it. And what I found was because you had to um, cut out the sugar, the
Yes.
processed sugar, any sugar, even if from fruit,
Hmm.
sugar, is sugar. Your brain doesn't say, well, okay, this is fruit sugar, so it's better. No, your brain just knows sugar.
There's no sugar. Yeah.
Right. So when I try to drink a sweet drink, even like a sip of soda or I was so repulsed.
Hmm.
So it can be done. Even with salt, it can be done.
Well, I can tell you, I didn't go on a keto diet,
Hmm.
but I did cut out sodas.
Yeah.
My number one drink right now, and has been for years, is water, and room temperature water to be specific.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
I'll have a beverage here and there, an alcoholic beverage here and there, but my go to room temperature water. I go to a restaurant, I'm asking for room temperature water and give me a lemon or two on the side,
Yes. And it's good.
and I'm good to go with that.
Yeah. You become addicted to water. I have an uncle who says nothing should go in your body, no liquid should be in your body but water.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but
Yeah.
but we are made up of majority water,
Hmm.
and it is at the foundation of every cell. If your cells do not have water, they're going to just die. So Gallery is agreeing. It's a matter of retraining the palate, and it is.
Yeah.
It
Yes,
is.
she's right.
And here is the thing, and this is another concern that I have, because our babies have come into this world and have been introduced to sugars
Yes.
very early. The formula that they're getting, and recently I talked about this recall on formula that killed these children. Here it is, we're giving these children formula. Why are they getting formula? Because the mothers have to be either one expressing milk and storing it and then going off to work because they can't have the time to be properly nurturing their children in the early stages of life. The first 2 years of life is when the immune system is developing. The first 2 years of life. Where is the mother in those first 2 years of life? How many children today are being breastfed regularly versus formula fed? And the formula is high in sugar.
Hmm.
So when you look at these children coming out of elementary school, the majority of them are overweight as a result of sugars
Hmm.
and salt. So right away, prime candidates for hypertension and diabetes. Prime candidates from elementary school, kindergarten even. And they're the whole recreation aspect have been taken out of a lot of our schools. So children are not running around and playing outside and doing that kind of activity much anymore. A lot of our children are indoors.
Yes.
I was fortunate enough to grow up in a time where the only time I was allowed to be at home inside was when I was on punishment. The punishment was to stay inside. I was
Right.
always outside.
Yeah, same here. But it was, we, like you said, we were in a different time. I mean, now we have to worry about our children getting run over. People are distracted on their cell phones and they can't even ride on their bikes. They're getting run over. They're getting kidnapped by these sex offenders and these, sex trafficking. Um, it's yeah, we live in a different time now. I have to admit, I'm one of the parents that I don't allow my daughter to go out by
And
herself.
that too
I was
is
gone
understandable.
until the lamp, when you get done home is when when you see the lamp light come on the street.
Right.
It's like, oh, time to go. But you're right. So they're not getting enough activity. But I take her out myself. I just go out and take her rollerblading along the street and watch her. I see parents with drones now,
Mm-hmm.
so they can watch their child as they ride their bikes down the road.
Right.
Yeah. But going back to that, you're right. We're introducing our children to. I think everything should be in moderation. I'm not going to say I'm never going to eat sugar again or salt again. No.
Oh yes. Totally in agreement.
Yeah.
Moderation is key.
Yeah. If I see some ice cream out there, I'll have the ice cream. I'm not going to have a whole cup of it, but I'll ask my daughter, hey, can I have 2 scoops of yours? Because she's going to eat more than me.
Right.
And that's it. You have to know how to control yourself.
But you see, and here it is. Thank you, Dr. Karabi. Vitamin D deficiency due to spending too much time inside.
Yes, that's a problem.
We're living sedentary lives. Things I talk about again. Things I talk about quite often. Why? Because they're a must. We need to be addressing these things. So here it is. We are living these sedentary lives. We're indoors. We are depriving ourselves of the natural resources that contribute to long, healthy lives. Vitamin D is pretty much at the foundation of maintaining good health. And people can question it all they want, but it is factual. And I might not be a DR, but you check the DRs that will tell you the truth. And you will hear it. Go do the research. I've been researching on this and talking about this for years. So here we come back full circle. We're a hypertensive nation, right? And it is caused by things that a lot of it is caused by things that we can control. We can control how we eat. We can control how much activity we have. We can control how much sunlight we get. We can control even what we're being prescribed. Because at the end of the day, we are the ones that have to. If a doctor is going to prescribe us something and it's going to affect us negatively, why are we going to take it?
Exactly.
Why take it? So we are in control, not because it's a doctor and we're told anyone that is in certain positions, you need to respect them. And I'm cool with that. I have no problem respecting those positions. I love my doctors and I respect them to the ground. But they can't tell me how I am feeling. I have to tell them how I'm feeling. And they can't tell me what is going to work for me. I have to tell them if something is working for me or not. So excuse me. So the relationship is a symbiotic one. But a lot of us, we just go with, boy, doc, what do you have for this? And a lot of our doctors have a list of things that they can choose from. And the pharmaceutical company, big pharma, is going to say to our doctors, well, this is what we're pushing for the next 4 months. See how many of this you can prescribe. This is your kickback to that. But the this is your kickback to that part is worded in such a way that it is not a kickback. Now, I could just be making things up, or it could actually go like that. I haven't gotten any of those kickbacks. I haven't seen any of those documents. Yeah. However, when you read the news reports of these doctors, or you hear the stories of some of these doctors that get these lavish trips or get these lavish houses as gifts, and
Yeah.
when you check their records, their bank records, and they're not earning anything that can take care of some of the things that they have, but they get them as gifts.
Yes.
Where are they getting them from?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But I digress. High blood pressure. Because even that is causing high blood pressure. Because that doctor bill, a comment here from Dr. Kiara B. We've become accustomed to quick fixes in lieu
Yes.
of taking time and putting effort into improving our health. So this is pretty much what I was going back to. So you read in my mind, Kellery.
But can I just say something?
Sure.
I feel as if some of the doctors are not listening to their patients because they're overbooked, they're overwhelmed, they just want to get you out quickly, quickly, quickly. Because you cannot just say put everybody in one box. Different people have different issues that can cause high blood pressure. So sit down, listen to the patients, listen to them carefully. Well, I'm having chronic pain, or my heart is palpitating, or well, what's your diet like? Are you drinking stimulants? Like there's some people say cut out coffee. And then one doctor is saying, no, coffee is fine. If you have 1 cup a day, it should be okay. Coffee is actually good for you. What makes it bad is if you have it and I'm not a DR either, but I've just been through so many things over my years,
Yes.
my health. And I wouldn't feel right. Like right now, I'm going into my sleep time.
Yes.
But when you touched on this subject, I was convicted to call in because
And I thank you.
I truly feel that doctors need to they need to just evaluate everything: lifestyle, race, genetics,
Blood type.
blood type, even the way of life. You have people that are musicians, right? That are in a studio all day, all night, no sleep, eating packaged foods because it's convenient, ordering out.
Yeah.
I went through that for many years. And you have people that are not getting enough sleep, and they're coming down with that's probably another subject you could probably touch on, which is sleep apnea. So things like that, you have to listen to your patients. Listen carefully. Don't rush them out the room. Because I truly feel like that I was the one who was my own doctor. I listened to my body, like you said earlier. You're your own doctor. Listen to your body.
But who else? You go to the doctor. If you're not telling the doctor what is going on with you, how is the doctor going to know how to address your situation?
Because they cut you off.
But that's what I'm saying. Even if you're telling them and they're cutting you off, they can't just look at you and tell you what is going on with you. If something is happening internally, without something superficial, a cut, a break, anything like that, something going on internally, with the absence of scans and tests, They cannot tell you what is going on inside of you. You are the one that has to know. And you have to know, you are the one that is going to be relaying it to them when these things are happening. Is it when I get up in the morning after drinking a lot of water the day before? After having a lot of coffee the day before? After eating this particular thing the day before? A doctor wouldn't know that just by looking at you. So you have to be the doctor. We have to be our doctors.
Right.
We can't
Well,
write
they
our
do have,
prescriptions.
yeah, they do have assessments. When you go in, they ask you have a questionnaire. They ask you this and they ask you that. Have you had this? Have you had
Yeah,
that?
but this is how they get
But
the
it's
information.
not. It's not only that. It's geared to everyone.
Yeah, but here it is. And
So,
this is where they make the big bucks now. Yeah, they
yeah,
give you the same basic information to fill out,
yeah,
but everybody is not filling out the same information. So it's not a cookie cutter thing. And this is where they have to take the time, and just like you said, take the time and go
hmm,
through and speak with you, the patient, and deal with you, the patient, not rush through and make their rounds. Because
exactly.
hey, everybody have what they need to do to make their money, and doctors are seeing X amount of patients each day, and they have to be writing these reports and doing these follow-ups and whatever else. And cool, I get it,
Hmm.
but it comes with the territory. That's why you're a doctor. So if you want to be you can just be a doctor, or you can be a good doctor.
Right.
What are you going to be? As a physician, what are you going to be? And as individuals who are entrusting our lives to these individuals, we need to be more involved. We need to be more aware of what is going on. And we can't just go to the doctor and say, well, doctor said, we should do this. Doctor said we should
Hmm.
take that.
Right.
They gave me a prescription. I went to make sure that, and they said I must make sure I take all of it. Even if it makes me feel bad a little bit, just drink a little bit of ginger ale and call it a day. What?
Yeah. See, like if your body's rejecting it, it means it's not meant for it.
Exactly.
And
If you,
that's a God-given,
you're
I
putting
mean,
something in your body, and your
hmm,
body is giving you a sign to say, yo, this not working for us,
hmm,
But you are going to say, oh, let me override this. Because the doctor said I should take it. Where's our faith? Is it in what we have been entrusted with all our lives to carry? Or this person that we met on a referral? This person that doesn't know you. Is just
hmm,
learning about you. How it go? Who do you trust? So, yeah. Thank you, Hillary. Get second and third opinions if necessary. Well,
yes.
they're all available. Take the time out and get the second and third opinion. Now, if they're in the same network, you probably have a problem. You
Right.
don't want to get your second and third opinions from the doctors in the same network because they're all gonna share the information,
Right.
and they probably have the same pharmaceutical companies being their suppliers. Again, it's a business. The way to maintain a business is to have repeat customers. So when you look at your health being treated as a business, then you start to reconsider how you go about providing this business. Because the more that you have to go to the doctor is the more money that you're spending and the less money that you're making. However, on the flip side, the doctors have to get paid. The pharmaceutical companies have to sell their product. 2 countries out of 195 countries in this world, 2 countries advertise pharmaceuticals: the United States and New Zealand. And we
Interesting.
know what the health, what should I call this? The health of our healthcare system. Because if we were to measure the health of the United States on a whole, We're a very unhealthy country.
Yes, we are.
And when you look at why, people say, it's one of the superpowers of the world, and one of the richest countries in the world, but yet still, those that live here, the citizens of this country, the residents of this country, the majority of us, we do not have quality food. Genetically modified food is the order of the day. High fructose corn syrup and high sodium content, order of the day. Does it have to be? No. And if it is not, what then of our pharmaceutical companies? Because the healthier we are, the less money the pharmaceutical companies make. The less drugs they have to advertise. They advertise all these drugs because we are a sick nation. Everything that they have advertised, you can call up somebody, and if you don't know them personally, that can benefit from this drug, they know somebody that can. Well, and I use benefit loosely. And hypertension is no different. So when we think about hypertension, high blood pressure, when you hear me talk about waging war against high blood pressure, it's not just the fact that you're gonna go check your blood pressure and see that it is high and go take a diuretic and sleep a little bit for it to come down. No, it's more than that. Because a lot of us are not addressing the causes of these things. We're not looking at the in your case, the cause of the pain that is causing you to stress out. The cause of the pain that is causing you to get these medications that cause other things to happen. So the side effects from the medication that you got to take for the pain that is causing more pain and damage to other organs.
That's it.
And now you're stressing because you have to go back to the doctor because here's another money that you're going to have to spend again.
Uh-huh.
So there's a financial stress. There's a stress of making sure that your child is taken care of. There's a stress of even you getting from that comfortable chair that you have to sit in a particular way because your spine is killing you.
Yeah.
To drive however long to go to the doctor's office. That the thought of that is stress enough. You don't even have to tell me. So here it is. People look at it and say, "But if you just, Jan, you just need to do this, this, and this, and it will take care of your blood pressure situation, man. Just chill." Okay. Did you stop to ask the question, what else is going on? Because the what else is going on is contributing to the high blood pressure.
The high blood pressure, exactly.
And the what else is going on is caused by the medication that is addressing the high blood pressure. And our doctors are oblivious to this. I don't buy that. I really don't.
And what they would do is they would send you to pain management. So they would put you on these steroids, which causes other problems eventually also.
And the cycle grows.
And exactly. So it just continues, just keeps going. But but this topic for sure, so important because it's so broad. It extends to so many different issues. High blood pressure.
And a lot of people just think of it in just this one little box. Oh, this person is hypertensive. They can just go take some medication for that.
And you're fine. No?
Just go to the doctor and them write you a prescription. No. And see, Hillary, I mentioned that very early in the broadcast. The gas price is going up. And so when we're talking about you when I was going through the list about you, Jan, going to the doctor and the stress that is involved in it. You going to the doctor, no, there's an additional stress because gas price just gone up.
Exactly.
As a result of this war that is on the other side of the other side of the world, but it is directly affecting us nonetheless. So if it's affecting us here in the United States and it is not happening here, imagine other parts of the world that is already having stressful situations.
Yes. Wow.
So how is it that something like high blood pressure, which can be caused from stressful situation, but there's no proof, as according to the scientists. But we all know that if we take simple situation of man versus lion, if there's anything that is going to be high in that situation is man's blood pressure. Because once adrenaline starts flowing, blood vessels become constricted, and the heart rate is increased. So if the heart rate is increased, then of course blood pressure is going to go up. Now imagine being in that alert state constantly. Where is your blood pressure going to be? And in the society that we live today, we are always on alert. You mentioned when I spoke about growing up and spending time outside and being inside as punishment, and you said it's a different time that we live in. Yes, it's a different time that we live in. One of the things that has changed is that we are no longer a village. We're individual units. We're individual huts. We're no longer a village. So the
That's
village
right.
raising the children doesn't exist anymore. And so that makes it easy for things like abductions to happen. Because there's no way that I'm going to live in a community and I have small children and my neighbors don't know that these children are mine. How do we live that way and be a village? How is it that I can see my neighbor and see that my neighbor has a child, and that child is in a situation that is potentially dangerous, and not step in on behalf of my neighbor?
Yeah, everybody's looking away. Well, that's not my business.
Yeah, not my business. It's not my child.
Right, yeah.
So these are the things that contribute to it being so much more of a dangerous environment that we live in, and the abductions happening. As a 5-year-old, I was going to school by myself. As a 7-year-old, I'm going to school by myself.
Yeah, walking by yourself. And nobody bothered you.
Not one soul. And if I did something wrong, somehow, and we didn't have cell phones, but I don't know how that reached my house before I reached my house. How? The village
Yeah,
is
it's sad.
active.
It's sad. I had an experience with my goddaughter. I was on the phone with her and she was walking home from school and there was this man heckling her. And I had to tell her to just walk to the gas station.
Right. You see, these are the things that contribute to high blood pressure because we're stressed.
Yeah.
We're at work. We can't leave the office. We can't leave the job to go pick up our children to make sure that they're safe. But why should we have to? Why can't our children feel safe enough to get from school to home, or to the office where we are? Why? We've become such a disjointed community. So much of a self-serving community that is causing us stress. And we're missing out on the strength that we have in numbers to make the change, because the change is influential. The strength in the numbers gives you that great voice that you can say, we can now say, hey, this is not how we want our pantry to look. We don't want our pantry to be saying high fructose corn syrup and sodium. We want our pantry to be saying rich in nutrients and vitamins. The same way it used to say that back in the day. And we're talking back in the day 30 years ago. 30, 40 years ago. When you could actually drink cow's milk.
Right?
Because it came from a cow. A healthy cow. Not a cow that is pumped up on antibiotics because it is growing and living in a situation where it can't walk 2 feet. It can't even walk 6 inches because it is in place, cramped in these concentrated animal feeding operations. Things have changed significantly. And all of these things are causing our blood pressures to go up. And we're missing it. And we're thinking that the solution is to go to the doctor for them to write us a prescription. Why couldn't I get that out?
It's basically a cover up. Let's just cover it. Let's just mask it instead of taking care of the problem, taking care of the root, what's causing this.
Yeah, let's go ahead and put this Band-Aid on this gunshot wound. It doesn't work. But yet still we miss it. So what do? We need to find the things that actually work for us. Jan found edibles, CBD edibles.
And I'm even looking now into sound therapy. I don't mean to cut you. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
I didn't want to forget about this. I'm looking into sound therapy. They said that's the actual medicine of the future. Is listen to these frequencies. I've been experimenting with that, and it's helped me a lot. It helps me calm down. It helps me. Meditation. A lot of people think meditation is a religion. It's not a religion. It's just a way of life. It's just a way of cutting your anxiety by not thinking. Just don't think. Sit quiet.
Solfeggio.
So yes, those frequencies
is what is called. I have been using solfeggio for years.
Wow. Look at that.
Sound is one of those things that resonates through every cell in our body. Vibration. Because, again, sound is energy that you hear. If we're all energy, then there are certain frequencies that will cause certain things to happen. And sound is one of those things that, when manipulated in a certain way, can heal and it can hurt. Sound can be used to break up kidney stones, which is calcium buildup. And if sound can do that, what else can sound do for us? Sound soothes babies to sleep. Why? Because they're used to hearing the mother's heartbeat as an embryo. So, as this infant now exists in a mother's arms, or in a father's arms, or in anybody's arms, held to the chest, hearing that heartbeat, it is soothing. Sound. So you exploring sound therapy now? I applaud you. Welcome to the club. This is one of the reasons Althea does massage therapy and uses sound
behind it. Yes.
Sometimes she uses solfeggio tracks as she does her massages. Why? Because it calms the mind. Now you calm down your mind. You're not racing at 150 miles per hour anymore to cause you stress to send up your blood pressure. That has already started bringing down your blood pressure. What is the prescription there? Neri has a song called Turn Off the Radio and Turn Up the Music.
Yes, I love that song.
Sound. You have good sound, you have bad sound. Find the frequency that resonates with you and work with it. It's just like finding medication that works with us and that works for us. and working with that. Again, I'm not saying all medication is bad. You have to find what worked for you and don't live on it. And there are some people that have to be taking medication for the rest of their lives.
Yes.
Well, lie. They're being told that they need to take this medication for the rest of their lives. Marva Riley was one of those that was told that she would have to be on medication for the rest of her life. And she tells this story openly because she was near death, literally. And as a nurse, she recognized that certain things, she's just going to have to change. Listen, Jan, I thank you for sharing your story with me and us
Yes, sir.
tonight. I thank you for giving us insight into hypertension and the so many things that can cause it and contribute to it. People on Facebook, people on Clubhouse. I may turn off Clubhouse. I can turn off Clubhouse now. See you guys. I should have ended Facebook a long time ago, but as caught up with you, Jan. No fault of yours.
Well, thanks for having me on.
I truly appreciate of it and appreciate
Hope
of
we
you.
can do this again and dive deeper into this issue.
Well, the issues don't stop.
Yeah.
And the more we connect them is the bigger we can see the picture. The better we can see the big picture, I should say. And because once we have them isolated, it looks like something over here and something over there and something over there. And we're missing the big picture that they're all connected. Just like we are all connected. And the more we can be in solidarity, the better off we can also be. Because it's less stress. I am running low on a little bit of sugar. Yeah, although we're talking about cutting out the sugar. I'm running low on some sugar. I can come and knock on your door next door. And say, hey, I'm kind of running low right now. Can you help me out?
Absolutely.
Go back to basics. Thank you, Jan. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Good night. Dr. Kiara B, I see you over there on Facebook Live. Thank you. Also, go get some sleep, Jan. It's past your bedtime.
Yes, it is. All right, love. Take care.
All right, good night.
Bye-bye.
As I jump into musical therapy, thank you very much, Janice, for calling in. Dr. Kiara B, thank you for your comments. Thank you guys that have shared this broadcast. Thanks to the affiliates. One Harmony Radio to the UK, NIE out of New Jersey, Island Worldwide out of New York, WGLRO, Oliwap Radio, Deuce Media Groups out of Texas, the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com, right here in South Florida also, PEMGTV.com. Thank you all. Appreciate you. Love you giving me this time slot on your various platforms. Thank you to those that have come here to kevinstew.com. Because I see you over there. How's life in Jamaica? We're talking about high blood pressure. We're talking about hypertension. We're talking about being healthy. It's healthy love. And we don't realize how afflicted we are. The products that we're putting into our bodies, how it is that they're affecting us. We're not paying attention to a lot of it because the advertising says otherwise. It says that we're supposed to feel good. So if we're not feeling good, it's something else that we're doing. It's not just the fact that this isn't working for us or working with us. We need to pay attention. We need to be the doctor that we are. Like Marva Riley says, it's a doctor in you, and you need to honor that doctor. You need to respect that doctor. You need to listen to your body and what it's saying to you. Your body is saying, "Hey, take a break. Take a break." And this means when you're at work, whatever that job is, if you need to take a break, you need to take a break to maintain your productivity level. Because at some point in time, you can't be going and going and going and going and going and think that you're going to be maintaining that high productivity level. It does not work. And if you're in a high stress job and you're constantly going like that, it's just going to be more stressful and more stressful and more stressful, and you're just adding to the stress. And what does that stress do? It breaks you down. So there you go. You pass out. You stop. Not because you want to, but because your body shuts down. What do you think happens? You check the newspaper the next day and there's a post advertising your position. And there is someone coming to replace you. Why? Because it's a cycle. And we're replaceable. If anybody thinks that they're not replaceable, think again. We're all replaceable. So where do we go from here? You know, what is it that we're looking to do to take care of ourselves? Because we have to take care of ourselves. Nobody's going to take care of us for us like we take care of ourselves. And who is going to take care of our children? If we haven't if we haven't done the work to teach our children the right way, the next generation, then they're just going to be growing up and following whatever it is they're being guided on by mass media. Because that's the other side of this. We are being raised by the media. So the media is raising our children. The media is telling us how it is that we should live our lives. Media is saying, hey, and I'm a part of media. But one of the things I say all the time, I'm here to stimulate your hunger, not satisfy your appetite. Well, lie. I said that wrong. I'm here to stimulate your appetite, not satisfy your hunger. And what that means is I'm going to give you information and you should leave here asking more questions than you came here. Because I should not be the one to fill you up. Yeah, I can be entertaining and all that. But what are you taking from this? What's the substance that you're being left with? So I was talking about high blood pressure and waging war against hypertension. Where does that leave us now? How much closer are you to being more vigilant about where your blood pressure is? Listening to the story, listening to Jan to tell her story about hypertension. Dealing with hypertension for over 20 years. And it being related to not something in her diet, but more so our situation with her health. Chronic pain and medication to address that chronic pain, which cause other problems, the side effects of those medications, the damage to other organs, which compounds the situation of being stressed. So now her body is overworked, trying to repair itself, causing what? High blood pressure, which she's taking medication to address. Until she found a solution that worked for her, which happens to be a natural solution. Because although the gummies don't occur naturally in the environment, what is used to make the gummies, it does. So yeah, it is a processed product. But how else is she going to get the nutrients required but through this processed product? And again, everything in moderation. So this worked for her. I'm not saying that it's going to work for you. But one thing is for sure. One thing that each and every one of us have. It's cannabinoid receptors. And I'm not saying everybody needs to start going out there and getting all this weed or all this marijuana or all these CBD products. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you shouldn't look into it either. I'm saying pay attention to your body, learn your body. Do some more research on what it is that you're putting into your body. You're being prescribed something, ask all the relevant questions. There's nothing wrong with questioning your doctor. It is not being disrespectful, it is being informed. And many of us, too many of us, are not informed. So we take whatever it is we're given. We're sheeple. And we're led wherever it is that leader at the time decides they're going to take us. So if it is a matter of leading us into bankruptcy to make sure of to pad their comfort, that is what it is going to be. Why? Because we're easily led. Let's not be that. Let's not be sheeple. Let's be people and have our own minds and understand what is going on in our own bodies. Being aware of the things that trigger our high blood pressure, those of us that suffer from it. But everybody at some point in time has elevated blood pressure. And why do we have elevated blood pressure? Because we're having stressful situations. And the stress is causing our blood pressure to go up. Whether it is a stress of not knowing where the remainder of the rent is coming from, or the utilities is coming from, or how you're going to put food on the table because the kids are hungry, or where you're going to get their next shoes from because the one that they're wearing, because it's the only one that they have. And the bottom is starting to come off. Now, a lot of people in the United States are not familiar with that, but people are listening from other parts of the country, and other parts of the world, and they are aware of that. So, there's so much that is involved in being hypertensive. But one thing is for sure, there is some solution out there that's available to each and every one of us to address it. One of the things we need to do, turn off the radio and turn up the music. We need to stop getting caught up in the hype. This is the sound of Neri.
Well, every day me get up a peer news me a hear. I try to scare we and put the whole away in a fear. Earth fuel like we don't have them the things that we are here. No job can't find food for the youth them. Politicians what you expect if we do then. Pick up the guns them and start fire them. Who know no business cause and no fear friend. Until I want no no they no we care then. Turn off the radio and turn up the music. Turn off the radio and turn up the music. Turn off the radio and turn up the music. Turn off the radio and turn up the music.
You see, that's it right there, Dr. Karabi. Let me share this comment that Kellery gave us. Our mental and emotional wellness need to be considered also, because far too often it is a contributing factor to our physical illness. I hope y'all got that in a Neri, hold on a minute. Let me say it again so that you can just hear my voice with Kellery Brown's words. Listen, our mental and emotional wellness is important. Far too often, it's a contributing factor to our physical illness. Our minds are not right. Our emotions are not right. And we are not doing anything to look about making sure that they are also healthy. So, what is one of the end results? What is a possible end result of that mental state, that emotional state being in dis-ease? Hypertension and other medical conditions, other physical conditions, which again, talk about stress. In a stressful situation, if you're being attacked, it's a stressful situation. That's when the adrenaline, which other time do you really need adrenaline to be running through your system in overloads, in overdoses? But when you're in a stressful situation, think about it. We're gonna close out tonight, but I do want to thank you all for contributing. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. This has been Healthy Love on the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. Again, big up to my affiliates. Island Worldwide, One Harmony Radio, NIE Radio, PEMGTV.com, Alawap Radio, Dusik Media Group, WGLRO, the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com. Thank you. Did I leave anybody out? I don't think I did. PMGTV, did I say that? I think I did. Thank you all. Zeno FM. You guys on Facebook Live. Thank you. You guys who were on Clubhouse, thank you. You know, I couldn't do it without you. And you have my word. I wouldn't even try. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world. From right here in South Florida, I bid you all a good night. Remember, look out for members of your community, and your community is not just development that you live in, but it spreads far and wide. So those that you pass on the bus, on the plane, the boat, or the train, whether you walk, ride, or drive, these are members of your community. Look out for one of them today, because you never know who's going to look out for you tomorrow. My name is DJ Kevin Stew, so I like to do it to you, for you, and with you every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Tonight has been Healthy Love. Tomorrow, it's Real Talk. Come back, let's close out the week, on the night shift week. In the meantime, in the background, we have Neri, track called Turn Up the Music. Thanks to my sponsors once again, PEMG TV, Altaner Healing Heavenly Hands, Reggae Global Entertainment, and for this segment, GMAT Music, sorry, not GMAT Music Solutions, but McNeil Trucking. Thank you to McNeil Trucking. With McNeil Trucking, you're in good hands. This has been the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Take care. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you, wherever you are in the world. From right here in South Florida, I bid you a good night.
Some people, all them a thing you make the Almighty grieve. Well, I say so much trouble in the world, so much trouble in the world. Well, I say so much trouble in the world, trouble in the world. When I say turn off the radio, turn off the music, turn off the radio, turn off the music.
Kelsey Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulse Media Group.
Salutations and all. You're invited to tune in to the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.